Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Jaya Radha Gopinata, Radha Gopinata, Shri Radha, Radha Gopinata, Radha Gopinata, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya. Jam Vishnupad Param Sivaraj Gacharya Shlotar Shraddha Svang Gresa Pacharinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ke Jai Grantarachima Bhagavatam Ke Jai Nitya Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Hare Krishna, today we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, Text 28. Kiridasya Moga Sankalpa, Kiridasya Moga Sankalpa, Urnanabhir Yatornute, Urnanabhir Yatornute, Tata Tadvishayam Dehi, Tata Tadvishayam Dehi, Manisham Mai Madhava, Manisham Mai Madhava, Kiridasya Moga Sankalpa, Kiridasya Moga Sankalpa, Urnanabhir Yatornate, Urnanabhir Yatornate, Tata Tadvishayam Dehi, Tata Tadvishayam Dehi, Manisham Mai Madhava, Manisham Mai Madhava, Kiridasya Moga Sankalpa, Kiridasya Moga Sankalpa, Urnanabhir Yatornate, Urnanabhir Yatornate, Tata Tadvishayam Dehi, Tata Tadvishayam Dehi, Manisham Mai Madhava, Manisham Mai Madhava. Translation and purpose by His Divine Grace, our patron, the Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O Master of all energies, please tell me philosophically all about them. You play like a spider that covers itself by its own energy, and your determination is infallible. Purport. By the inconceivable energy of the Lord, every creative element has its own potencies, known as the potency of the element, potency of knowledge, and potency of different actions and reactions. By a combination of such potential energies of the Lord, there is the manifestation of creation, maintenance, and annihilation in due course of time, and by different agents like Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshvara. Brahma creates, Vishnu maintains, and Lord Shiva destroys. But all such agents and creative energies are emanations from the Lord, and as such there is nothing except the Lord, or the one supreme source of different diversities. The exact exact example is the spider and spider's web. The web is created by the spider and it is maintained by the spider, and as soon as the spider likes, the whole thing is wound up within the spider. The spider is covered within the web. If an insignificant spider is so powerful as to act according to its will, why can't the Supreme Being act by his supreme will in the creation, maintenance and destruction of the cosmic manifestations? By the grace of the Lord, a devotee like Brahma, or one in his chain of disciplic succession, can understand the almighty personality of Godhead, eternally engaged in his transcendental pastimes in the region of different energies. Om Ajnanatimram dasya gnanjana shalakaya chakshuram militam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Putale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadate Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Padakalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamshcha Shri Rupam Sakrachatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sachivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parichana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamshcha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Pancha Kalpadarabhascha Kripa Sindhya Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhya Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam class. So we are hearing now how Lord Brahma replied to Lord Garbhodakashayi Vishnu after he got his darshan and Vaikuntha revealed, and the Lord shook his hands to assure him of his success in his devotional service of creation, and then Lord Garbhodakashayi Vishnu praised Lord Brahma's sincerity in performing his penances for the pleasure of the Lord, and he said that even those kind of sincerity, those kind of penance, that is my heart and soul, and therefore penance and I are none different. And the Lord himself explained to Lord Brahma that he is the one who creates this cosmos also by such penance, so that explaining that any potency in this world is actually comes only if you perform penance. In other words, if we engage in sense gratification, then we are exploited by our senses. Then all our energy just gets wasted in animal life. Like we know, it's if you actually even materially, if you want to achieve something, then we need to use the energy. Or rather, you can use the energy properly only if you first of all control your senses. If you don't just went out, let the energy loose used in useless sense gratification, which even the lowest species of life can get, even in hellish life, And so that was the Lord's glorification of penance, and at the same time also stating himself that actually I'm the one who is creating. Lord Brahma knows that, of course, and also now we hear that how Lord Brahma states that to the Lord. So because he first of all started off in text 25, that actually, my Lord, I know you're in the heart of everyone, so you know perfectly well everyone's desire, but then still. In the next verse, 26, in spite of that, he still was praying to the Lord to kindly fulfill his desire. And what was the desire? It was the desire to successfully engage in this important service to the Lord, in creating this material universe in such a way that the Jivas all get the facilities to engage according to the karma in their activities, but then thus have an opportunity to ultimately rectify their mentality of lording it over and turn the face again to the Lord, which is the actual purpose of the creation. And so he prayed like that, and then he started glorifying the Lord as having no mundane form, although, or rather, in spite of your transcendental form, you assume the mundane form, although you have no such form at all. So in other words, he then started to refer to the Lord's, or rather, our understanding of the Lord as in Achintya Beda Beda Tattva, that because the Lord is the source of everything, of all energies, also the energy is also non-different from the energetic. It's coming from Him and it is acting fully under His control. So in that way, even the cosmic manifestation is non-different from the Lord. But at the same time, Lord Brahma stated that still it is not, you don't have a mundane form. You have an eternally transcendental form, most beautiful form of in his supreme form here is Sri Sri Radha Gopinath, and which is completely aloof from anything else, from the material cosmic manifestation. And so he then stated further that for annihilation, generation, and maintenance, that he is accepting different energies, and Srila Prabhupada explained here that especially we know that's in the form of the Gunavatars, Lord Vishnu for maintenance, Lord Brahma for creation, and Lord Shiva for destruction. And so in today's verse now in 28, Lord Brahma goes a bit more in detail, or rather he gives a very nice analogy of how to understand how the Lord can be the source of all energy, and in that way actually non-different from the cosmic manifestation, but still not being being completely independent of it, and being what's the word? Don't find a word now, but that he cannot be depleted at any time, his energies. He unlimitedly pours forth the energies, and the cosmic manifestation is taking place again and again. We know his form, as picture we have here of Lord Mahavishnu, how he lies down in the causal ocean and all the universes, simply by his breathing out one breath, innumerable universes come out from his pores of the skin, and that is then a whole lifetime of Lord Brahma, 311 trillion and some 40 million years or something, that it lasts one such universe, simply being one exhalation of Lord Mahavishnu's breath, and that goes on eternally. So, and there is never a question of, now the supply would be stopped in any, not in the case here for the material universes, neither for for spiritual world. It's also ever increasing, ever expanding, unlimited diversity, unlimited resources, you can say. And so that is the nature of the Lord. And a simple, small material example we find in today's verse, namely that of the spider. How the spider, like a small spider, is like insignificant living entity, but it has the potency that it can, from its own body, can produce a certain kind of liquid substance, that it can create a whole cobweb, which can sometimes be quite big and quite and strong as well. Like it can catch rather big animals sometimes, and not just tiny insects. And so that's the amazing thing. The spider, it easily creates such a web, and also the example goes further, that also in terms of the analogy to dissolution, the spider can also wind up this same web very easily. And so, that's an analogy how the Lord, from Him emanates the cosmic manifestation, and then also He breathes it in very easily. Dissolution is also as effortless for him as well as the creation, and everything, also maintenance for that matter. But so that's a nice example that Lord Brahma gives here about how we, because if you understand such an insignificant living entity can do that, such a similar thing in a small scale, then why shouldn't it be possible for the Supreme Being, who is the source of everyone and everything, and who so brilliantly directs even the material energy, as we heard also yesterday about, Prabhupada quoted as Mayatyakshena Prakritihi, that Suyate Sacharachanam, that even the material energy, it is fully under the glance, under the direction of the Supreme Lord. Even though he is completely aloof from it and he doesn't have to exert himself, but still, everything is fully dependent on him. Everything can only work under the direction and under the design, or how do you say it, of the Supreme Intelligent Being, of the Supreme Lord. And in fact, Srila Prabhupada points out in this purport that because of the potency of the Lord, I'll just read again, it's at the very beginning, that Prabhupada is saying, by the inconceivable energy of the Lord, every creative element has its own potencies, known as the potency of the element, potency of knowledge, and potency of different actions and reactions. So, it goes as far as, even though, dead matter is, in one sense, if you look at it, you think it looks like, well, that's has no potency. That's just, we have potency, minute quantity, because we are living entities, we are spirit soul, and thus we can do things. But actually, even inert matter, Srila Prabhupada says here that every creative element has its own potencies. And because everything comes from the Lord and everything has its purpose. There's no such thing as, like modern scientists, they speculate because they don't know the origin of anything ultimately, and so many things just they don't know. How could you understand if you don't know the origin? If you don't know that there is a supreme intelligent being who is creating everything and who is directing everything, then of course they can only speculate uselessly. And so, for example, they claim, I think, something like that actually 97% or something is actually dark matter, which basically they say because their calculations don't fit to actually mathematically explain the creation or the manifestation of the universe according to their theories like Big Bang theory or things like that. And thus they say that there's something like dark matter which which they don't know what it actually is or anything. But so they say things like this, and also like that there would be so much space and other planets where there's basically nothing, where there's no life, just some dust, some stones. But we know, no, it's not like that. Why would the Lord create something like this? Everything in existence has its purpose, and so also every single element has its potency invested by the Supreme Lord originally. And Prabhupada explains here what kind of potency. There's three, he says, namely, every creative element has its own potencies, known as the potency of the element, potency of knowledge, and potency of different actions and reactions. He doesn't really further explain that, but just it seems in simple terms, okay, yes, potency of the element, potency of knowledge, and potency of different actions and reactions. So actions and reactions, we know, like all the elements, they combine with each other and form, different substances, form different, things, manifestations in the material world. and so that's all predetermined how it happens. So that's the potency is preset by the Lord, and in potency of knowledge. So there's every element has its. It's not random. At one time it's like this. At one time it's like that. It has a certain structure and certain things only that it can do, and how it is doing it. And that's all by the inconceivable energy of the Lord. All of that is happening, and so, and then further Prabhupada again explains how we know those three gunavatars, how they are employed to bring about the creation, maintenance, and dissolution of the universe. And and then he explains the example of the spider. And then Srila Prabhupada concludes that by the grace of the Lord, a devotee like Brahma, or one in his chain of disciplic succession, can understand the almighty personality of God that eternally engaged in his transcendental pastimes in the region of different energies. So it is this Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva philosophy. It's, if a devotee explains it to you, and if you read Srila Prabhupada's books, it's rather simple to understand if you are ready to submissively hear and to use your intelligence to actually wanting to understand who you really are and everything, and not just challenge or speculate uselessly. But it is only possible by the grace of the Lord, by the grace of the devotees. Otherwise, it is they can, as we see, people, they can come up with so many different speculations, and they can come nowhere near that. So that's because it's a very, on the one hand it's simple, but at the same time it's very high philosophy, which is you can never come to it on your own endeavor to understand that, because for that you need to understand and accept that there is a Supreme Lord, a Supreme Being, and who is has inconceivable potencies. Like Srila Jiva Goswami, he's saying that there's no meaning of saying that there would be a God, that there would be God, if you don't accept that he has inconceivable potencies. So in other words, if we think, okay, somehow we might come to accept that yes, there must be some supreme intelligent being, so there must be God. But then still, if we are not ready to fully accept the fact that then such a being, it is way beyond us, we originate from him, and so how could we ever, with our brain power, our mind, come to fully understand the Lord? It's not possible. So that's why the basic thing to try to really understand this philosophy of Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva is that it is inconceivable energy. And then and of course it takes, if you're not a devotee, and if you don't get the mercy of a devotee, then it can seem, of course, very you simply you can't at all understand it with your mind. Like, how can it be that there is one being who can, first of all, himself expand in personal expansions in so many forms, but even not going to that detail, even if you just think about his form as Lord Vishnu, which is directly in relation to the material world, then still, how can it be that unlimitedly, simply such a huge universes with so much diversity and so many planets, so many living beings, manifestations, that they effortlessly just come out from one being who himself doesn't even have to exert himself, effortlessly breathing out those universes. And at the same time, so that everything, this energy is directly from him, but still that he at the same time can fully control it and is related to him directly, but still is completely aloof from it, that he doesn't have to think about it at all and can have his personal pastimes, his personal activities just as similarly as we would think that we are, as just a person in one place and dealing one-to-one with other people, other living beings. So yeah, it's completely inconceivable, and thus it can only be understood by the grace of the devotees, by the grace of the Lord. It has to be, the heart needs to be purified a bit to be able to even come to accept this highest truth, absolute truth, and so we should be very grateful for that. We shouldn't take it for granted that it's okay. Yeah, we got to understand it, the basic philosophy, and so that's it. We just move on, but rather we should always remember how special it is. How it's not only like, even in what to speak of nowadays, how degraded the people are now in Kali Yuga, but even in previous ages, as we hear in Srimad Bhagavatam, that there's so many people who endeavored so hard to try to understand the absolute truth, or tried for self-realization, and they fell down, or they got obstructed, because it takes, at the end, most importantly, simply the mercy of the Lord and of the devotees. Otherwise, the Lord is merciful. He does give so many different paths of coming towards Him, as we know from Bhagavad Gita, the different forms of yoga. And because, as we said, it's the only real purpose of the material world is to get the living entities actually out of it again. That's like also one, if you tell that to materialistic people, they might seem to them wouldn't make sense at all. Like, why would the material world be here if actually we are not meant to be here? If it is not for our enjoyment, but if it's actually just for us to realize again that it's not the place to be, it's not the thing to do to try to enjoy this material world, but rather to become detached from it and again return to our constitutional position of rendering loving service to the Lordships. And that's one important thing also that we get from when we read Srila Prabhupada's books, when we read about such other great personalities, such as Durvasa Muni, or recently, yesterday I mentioned the pastime of Atri Muni, how he was a great sage also, and performed amazing austerities, standing just on one leg for a very long time, and thus got the attention of so many, first of all of the three Gunavatars, and also of all, he became famous throughout the world because of this austerities, and he knew that there is a supreme being. So he was, compared of course to other people nowadays, he was advanced, but still he couldn't understand that actually that there's this one Supreme Lord. And because he didn't have association of devotees there, and he simply performed his austerities. So it's even though he's so famous, and he got the 3 sons of partial incarnations of the 3 Gunavatars, from Lord Brahma, Soma was born, the moon god. That's why we know, like it's explained that if you want to get a peaceful mind, then you worship Lord Brahma. I mean, ultimately, of course, best is always... Sorry, not Lord Brahma. No, I got that mixed up. Then you worship Soma, the moon god, or Aniruddha, but there's no connection with Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma is for intelligence, and he's with Pradyumna. But so yeah, Soma was born as partial incarnation of Lord Brahma. Durvasa Muni was born as partial incarnation of Lord Shiva, and Dattatreya was born as partial incarnation of Lord Vishnu. And yet, his understanding of the absolute truth cannot be compared to what we have. We tiny devotees. And that is simply by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and of the devotees. So, yeah, should feel always grateful for that. And yeah, we know it's not about scholarship. It's, of course, we should read the books, but the Lord can only be understood by devotional service, and so we shall always try to engage in Srila Prabhupada's mission with all our heart, and thus it will be more and more revealed the full truth of our relationship with the Lord and the devotees, and yeah. So thank you. Grantarachima Bhagavatam Ki Jai.